Hi everyone, it's Graham Bradshaw from IMI. There's obviously a lot of concern about air pollution. It's an ongoing theme. Obviously somewhat of a shock to have our children not able to go out and play, which is the first thing to do when there's very high pollution days, is not to exercise much outside or to limit the amount of time outside. Just to give a couple of statistics on how significant our air pollution is. Do you know there's 3,000 deaths or so per year attributed to air pollution in Hong Kong? And when that breaks down, a high pollution day like we had this week would mean around 15 or up to 20 people could have passed away owing to the air. And that also, according to the calculations by the Headley group, accounts for about 20,000 doctor's visits. So we can see that air pollution does have a huge impact on our health. Now, rather than freak you out and suggest that you might leave Hong Kong, my talk here today is more about how can I empower you to reduce these effects. And there are some studies to show how you can do that. And I'm going to talk around foods and supplements you might use to block the oxidative effects and the inflammation effects and the toxicity effects from air pollution. So those are the three main things that air pollution does. First, I'll talk about the oxidative effects. So air pollution has a lot of free radicals. One of the types is ozone. Ozone is able to oxidize tissues very quickly. And it is in our air pollution. So what's known to have an antioxidant effect are the phytonutrients from coloured fruits and veggies. Do you know we're meant to be having not just the 5 that's always spoken about, but 5 to 9 serves of fruits and veggies per day? And if you do that, well, bingo, you won't be needing to take any vitamin C or vitamin E, which are kinds of supplements that produce an antioxidant effect if you were to add supplements to your diet. Unfortunately, most people only have 1 to 2 serves of veggies and fruits a day, so that has a huge impact on our ability to have antioxidants naturally in our body that can protect ourselves. Gosh, I find it's pretty hard to get people up to 5 or 9 serves of fruits and vegetables a day. So one of the things that I often find myself recommending are food-based antioxidants that can help protect. Now, we do know from studies that particularly folks who are more prone to asthma or runny nose or coughing during high pollution days do get protective effects from taking vitamin C and E. And those have been most of the studies of the antioxidants used as supplements to help folks with asthmatic or allergy type symptoms caused by air pollution. So from us here, just to point out a product, here's one called Ultimate Antioxidant that uses all food state antioxidants to give that protective effect, and it has natural forms of vitamin C and E, plus the cofactors that go with them. I might just say that synthetic vitamin C, which is in your standard products around town, don't work as well as the ones that are derived from foods. And of course you can be using some high concentrated vitamin C sources such as some fresh orange juice or eating kiwi fruits. Guavas, I think, are one of the highest in vitamin C that you can get. I'll mention one other natural antioxidant producer, and that's broccoli. And I'll mention broccoli again a little later on. Now, it turns out that another type of effect that comes from air pollution is that it goes on to cause inflammation in our tissues. And some of that's because of these irritating particles that get in. Now, they don't just get into your lungs. We know now that they go to the heart. Worse still, they go to the brain. Even it's been found in testes of men, and there's some suspicions that it reduces fertility in men. So this, these irritating particles, they tend to have some iron in them, and so that's another oxidant, but it also causes inflammations. Vitamin C, by the way, tends to suck up iron, so it's handy for removing some of those deposits. But let's talk about inflammation just a bit more. Inflammation particularly damages the heart and brain, so that the heart and brain age faster. We do know now that high levels of pollution do age the brain faster. You could say accelerate the onset of dementia. We do know that there are effects on children too. Even the rates of autism in populations in high pollution are higher. So these are all bad news things, but the brain particularly and the heart also are both very protected by the anti-inflammatory effects of omega-3. Fortunately, it's not just a theory that omega-3 would protect us against air pollution. There's some studies done recently in Massachusetts. Yeah, it was on mice, but it does show the same effects under the effect of air pollution. They had 30 to 50% protection from inflammation damage when the mice were given adequate levels of omega-3. Now, adequate would mean 2 to 3 grams per day. Now, that's fairly high. You would find, 2 to 3 grams per week. That's fairly high. And you'd have to take 2 serves of very fatty fish, up to 3 serves of very fatty fish, such as salmon or mackerel, to achieve that per week. And again, not too many people do achieve those levels of those oily fish every week. And so, in fact, in a situation like I'm in, where I'm recommending things to help people stay healthy, we often are giving omega-3 as fish oils, concentrated fish oils, pharmaceutical grade, so that they're ultra pure. And with these, a couple of capsules a day will give you that 30 to 50% protection from air pollution, according to, limited studies, but definitely a scientific fact. The third type of thing that affects us is that overall air pollutants are toxic. And it turns out that you can raise your primary detoxification enzyme, one called glutathione. Around about 40% of us are missing a very effective function in producing glutathione. It's to do with a gene called GST, I should say, GST-M1. And it's surprisingly common that folks don't produce glutathione because of having a defect in that gene. Those folks are also the ones that are very much more prone to asthma or allergic rhinitis and show up more obvious symptoms. So can you bypass that defect in the gene, or for all of us, can we stimulate the amount of glutathione we produce? Well, yes, we can. And it turns out that broccoli is our saviour on that one. Not so much if you cook the broccoli for more than 4 minutes, so relatively crunchy broccoli, and especially if you use it raw, which might mean cutting off a little florets and putting some of the tops of the broccoli into your salads. But sulforaphane, which is the key ingredient in broccoli, is most concentrated in broccoli sprouts. So broccoli sprouts, you can extract this stuff called sulforaphane. It's one of the phytonutrients in broccoli, and you can condense it and it becomes like a medicine. And it's been shown that those folks who have that GST-M1 deficiency, this sulforaphane stimulates other genes. It bypasses that hitch and gets another gene system to be more active, and that gene system produces the glutathione, and as it turns out, about 10 other antioxidant and anti-inflammatory enzymes. Personally, I've started to take sulforaphanes as the broccoli sprout extract, and our product here is called Enduracell Plus. Sorry to be sort of salesy, but just to make all of these ideas very practical, there are supplements that you can use. So the broccoli sprout extract, that product stimulates the production of glutathione through the genes for up to 72 hours after you take a dose. And that's why we find that people who consume broccoli just a few times a week do have less, surprisingly, cancers, cancer of the breast, prostate and gut, but in general have better health by taking the broccoli. Now, again, if it's raw broccoli, you'll get a much bigger effect, and if you would take something as strong as the broccoli sprout extract, it goes as far as being able to kill early stage cancer cells. So that's not on the air pollution topic, but it just gives you an idea that these very protective enzymes, once they are activated in the body, do protect us from all sorts of degenerative types of diseases. So it turns out another way you can support the glutathione level, this major detoxifier in your body, is just again with vitamin C. Around about 500 milligrams of vitamin C once a day had been shown to increase that glutathione level by 50%. So if I would summarize, yes, get more phytonutrients from your diet by eating more fruits and vegetables, particularly foods that provide extra vitamin C. You won't get to 500 milligrams of vitamin C though through your diet. So consider adding a vitamin C supplement. And if you only went for vitamin C, again, look for something that's got a high whole food derived content of vitamin C, because the food nutrients that are working with vitamin C in an orange, say for instance, accelerate and accentuate how active it is. But in a study with just ascorbic acid, a supplement of 500 milligrams, it was shown to raise the glutathione levels by 50%, which is quite substantial. So I would do that especially on the high pollution days. In fact, I do take that particular or each of these, one of these each day. Going on, the second thing I mentioned was the omega-3. And again, you can take 2 or 3 serves of oily fish per week, or a couple of supplements of a pure fish oil every day to get some 30 to 50% protection from the air pollution damage. And lastly, if you want to go all the way and think about your long-term illnesses that we worry about, particularly cancers, as well as helping you to detox a day-to-day load of air pollution, then the broccoli, and especially the broccoli sprout as an extract. If you do take the broccoli sprout as an extract, good news is you only need it every second or even third day, because it stimulates those genes for up to 72 hours. So the glutathione levels stay up quite high over a longer period with broccoli sprout extract than anything else we know. So those are good news things. You can protect yourself, you can be empowered, you can fight back against air pollution, and I'd encourage you to do that. Thank you very much.